Empty Minefields by Bahar Kayani. Every day, I feel like a burden. My father never fails to make it clear that I am an added weight in his life. Before I left for school each morning, I used to try and tell him that it wasn't my fault that I had to go, that I couldn't spend my days working at the butchery with him. The law was the law. He didn't listen. Instead, he replied with a firm snatch of the soft flesh of the inside of my upper arm, a swift blow with his other free hand that was sometimes holding something, sometimes not. Nowadays, I just try to slip out of the house in the mornings without waking him up and hope for the best when I get home. Today at school, we're doing show and tell, my least favorite activity. Someone brings a cool pet snake or souvenirs from an extraordinary day out with family. But I always have nothing. However, today is different. I have prepared something that I think might be a step toward the solution to my never-ending chain of blocked roads and tangled strings. Mrs. Batten calls me to the front of the class. Here we go again, written all over her face. I shuffle forwards whilst looking at my feet and clear my throat. Hello, everyone, I say. Today, instead of another joke, I'd like to read a poem that I wrote about. I hesitate. My stomach clenches, fear getting the better of me. What if they don't listen? What if they... No. This is my time to show them what I've been battling other than all their snide remarks, pushing their disheartening thoughts aside. I continue. My own life. No one cares, yells Jackson from the back of the classroom, where he's sitting with his fellow cronies. They're a ravenous pack of hyenas to my naive, unblemished zebra, uncaring for who they crush between their teeth and tear beneath their claws. Looking back down to my feet, I take a deep breath and start reading. Struggle in the depths. Get some rest tonight, my teachers say to me. Your eye bags look horrific, I hear others add. How I wish to scream to the world. I am beaten, belted, and bashed, punchbag of the man who struggles to provide for us. The bruises hide on the cover as symptoms of lack of sleep. I grab the £1.50 chicken from the paper box, bought with the money Mum scraped together, hands covered in succulent grease. This is my salvation, the resurrection of my being. My stomach laps it up with every bite, my intestines squirming with impatience for food to eat. How do you stay so thin, my classmates spit. I wish I could have your body, they repeatedly snarl. Little do they know that starvation is the cause. Inflation is the cause. We are poor because of the system. We need help because of society. We are weak. Looking up from my wrinkled piece of paper, I see the whole class staring back, eyes popping out of their heads with shock. No one knew. But then again, how could they possibly know? All these years, I've tried so hard to conceal everything from everyone. The rushed eye makeup every morning, the timid smiles returned to backward compliments on my ideal weight. Now, after blowing the lid off my inconspicuous disguise, I feel free. I'm a bird let out from a confinement, a thorned cage. Thank you for that lovely poem, Mrs. Baxton fumbles, evidently lost for words after realizing how blind she has been, and then proceeds to whisper, If you don't mind, may I have a little word with you in the hallway? Reluctantly, I trail behind her, making sure to keep my distance in case she may be able to hear my heart roaring in my chest. Turning around slowly, she takes me in properly for the first time, it seems. It breaks my heart that you are having to go through so much at such a young age, and I'm very sorry that you feel this way about us. If you told us, any member of staff, earlier, we could have at least started by giving you things like free school meals. Please do not keep these things quiet and let them build up inside you. They could cause much more damage if you keep them bottled up and they burst out all at once rather than if you let them out slowly and one by one. She was rattling on with such a passion as I'd never seen before. I could see the perspiration dotted on her brow, cheap foundation sliding down her cheeks. If I had known she would have been so gentle and understanding, I would not have been so concerned to tell my issues. It just didn't occur to me that people would be so thoughtful when it came to others suffering from poverty, like me. I didn't think once that they would stop and go out of their way to help us. As I continued to hear her sympathetic words, I wished for a wish that could save the world. I wished that everyone could be as compassionate as Mrs. Baxton was now.